is this Mr. Tucker?
Mr. Tucker, I'm Jim Murphy, his counsel. Ms. Graber apparently has not shown up.
Okay, let's see. The last time we were here, it was amended to no unlawful contact. That was in September. Let's see what we're doing now. 31st of March. This was actually motioned for the 31st day of March.
Right, and apparently they rolled it over to today.
What was the 31st day of March? Was that a Monday?
Tuesday.
I don't have domestic violence on Tuesday.
I think that's probably why they rolled it over to the...
Yeah, I think that's probably why. That's why she's not here.
No, she's aware of this.
Well, how do you know she's aware?
She called me and told me, made sure I was aware of the date.
Okay. Well, I'm going to pass this to my next domestic violence doctor because she's not here, and the only notice that I have here is the notice that was filled in. I don't know where 31st of March at 11 a.m. came from because I don't have domestic violence on Tuesday, and it's not her writing, so it was somebody else who filled it in.
Judge, I have it.
So,
my client lives in Tennessee, so coming up here is actually an aggravation. And
well, I'm sorry, it's an aggravation,
No.
but that's not one of my domestic violence days, and somebody else put it
that's
on
not
the
where
docket.
that's where I'm going with that. Ms. Graber has been harassing my client.
I'm not going to have a next parte discussion either without her here. This was on for the 31st of March. That was
I have a text message from her saying that she knew it was today.
Okay. As you and I are both lawyers, we both know that a text message saying that she knew it was today is not sufficient. And again, I have to tell you, as a lawyer as well, somebody else put this date on here, not her.
Oh, I don't know. The next day I was there when they gave it to me. And
Right. I don't really understand that.
honestly, Judge, it looks like my handwriting was
I know, it would have been some at the post office.
Right.
Yeah,
No, I mean,
so
when I saw it, it really looks like my handwriting.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened, so, in any event, let me take just a moment and see what, I may be able to pass it out longer than that, and see what she's asking.
It's the other issue.
Income, third-party advocate for Medicare, 40 days recovery, subcontractor. Looks like it's about child support.
That's the other issue, Judge. It's really not a domestic violence matter. It's
Let me see if child support was ordered off the DVO. No. She does have temporary custody of the child, and I think you guys maybe have a paternity.
we filed a paternity action to.
Active. It says active delinquency, but I'm guessing that means paternity probably. Let me check and see. Let me flip real quick here. Becca, this says they have an active delinquency case, but does that mean paternity?
No, the other child.
Oh, she has another child.
Yes, she was a child.
But not with him?
Not with him.
Okay, so
No.
she's got a kid in juvenile court coming up in April, okay. Paternity file on March the 25th, is that what y'all are referring to?
Right.
Okay, so have you filed to establish paternity and ask for a parenting schedule?
As for parenting schedule and child support, they cannot get along. They need to have some kind of court structure.
You're right, now that I think about this, of course, I do paternity on Wednesdays, so I'm not sure how that happened either. Tuesday is not
Oh, no,
Tuesday.
I got this when I went over to file the paternity action.
Right.
The clerks told me that
Right.
they rescheduled and they were sending it. I know they sent out a list to her.
I don't know why, anyway.
But if you look at the motion, Judge, it's not a domestic violence.
Right, it's not, I agree with you. She has temporary custody of the child off the domestic violence docket. Now, what that means to you all is that, unless that's been changed, I don't think it has, what that means to you all is that relative to the paternity action, has he been adjudicated the father? Okay, so,
That's what I'm seeking.
yeah, first of all, if he's not adjudicated the parent, then when Judge Fitzgerald gave her temporary custody, she didn't really need to, because the only parent at that point, of course, was mom. However, if he's coming in on the paternity docket and asking to be established the dad, then that gives the judge the ability to, among many options, give them joint custody, or at the very least, give him a parenting schedule for the
Correct.
child, so.
Judge, there's a very real chance that he is not the father, and we want
Ah,
that
I see,
established.
okay, okay. Well, then, I'll tell you what I'll do, because I don't have a child support order set on the DBO docket, so it would not be taken up on the DBO docket. I'm going to remand this motion, and then I'll see you guys on the paternity docket, and then we'll address everything there. But there's a custody order, which doesn't matter if he's not the dad anyway.
Correct. He doesn't.
And then as far as parenting time and other things like that, we'll take them up on, what day are you coming in next week? Is it next week?
No, we don't, he hasn't filed a response.
Oh, you haven't yet, March 20th.
I was actually gonna file a motion for DNA testing, so.
Yeah, okay. Well, and that can be done without having to request it of me, so in any event, we'll take it all up on paternity, but I'll remand this motion because it shouldn't be on the
I
video docket, so, all
All
right.
this ready for you, Judge.
Thank you very much, I appreciate that. Okay, motion's remanded, and I'll note that she's not present too, and I'll note about the calendars and all that. Yeah. Thank you very much.